Hi everyone, my name's Rachel Dilley. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Town Hall Group, and this is Town Hall TV. Today we're thrilled to welcome Andy Mac, because nobody can pronounce his surname, to the show. He is a business founder, entrepreneur, inspirational speaker, author, and much more. Delighted to have you on the show this evening, Andy.
Thank you.
I know that you're a big champion of creating positive change in the world. I can tell by you smiling. Tell me how you do that through your business.
So there's not enough change in the world, and firstly, well done with the Andy Mac bit, because nobody can ever say McLachlan. It's an absolute nightmare. It's 1,400 years of history and nobody can ever say it. So Andy Mac, that's generally how I'm known in business. It makes it easy. So when we talk about positive change and culture at ELA, really where we're coming from there is trying to really get into a business the right culture. A culture that can run all the way through, but a culture that's top down, okay? And so we are passionate about it. And how we do that really is by really reaching inside the heads of the leaders to say, right, what is it that you're trying to achieve and how can you do that authentically? And ultimately, it's that authenticity that drives it. So we need to create trust inside a business, and that's hard to do. And you know the score, there's always going to be certain employees that don't want to sort of get involved with things, and they're always a little bit standoffish. And certainly during COVID, we've seen more than ever a lack of belief inside business. And we've seen the ramifications of COVID take people's sort of security away from them. So there's a whole feeling there that needs to be shored up. And so for us, that creation of trust really is almost like the new currency really inside a business, that once you've got it, it creates explosive growth.
I mean, speaking of COVID, you've been so active through social media platforms on really helping dental practices, business owners through COVID. Where did that inspiration come from?
It came from my business partner, Nikki, because she's a little dynamo. She really is. She's amazing. And really, as an organisation, ELA, we've come a long way. And so giving you a little bit of background, when COVID hit, Nikki and I were already working together in the capacity of sort of being two separate entities. And COVID kind of pushed us together, and we said, look, it's time for us to join forces now. And with Nikki's vast experience in dentistry, it became obvious that we both had two sides of the coin to be able to offer to dentistry. So we're excited really to bring a lot of change to dentistry, a lot of positivity. And we kind of want to replicate what you're doing actually in many ways, because I've got to say to you, you're doing an incredible job with all the different things that you've got going on. And it's really interesting because you are such a purpose-led organisation. So we would commend you on that and say, well done. And if we could take a little bit of your DNA and kind of put it in a petri dish and then share it out across dentistry, it'd be great. But I think culture is the key thing for us, the way that we drive growth.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're very involved in Bob, and you've also got all sorts of different projects going on. Is there anything that you can, tell our viewers about Bob? Because it's something that I'm really, really interested in. We had a talk before about it. So tell us a little bit more about it and about what projects you've got up and coming.
Thank you. Yeah. So Bob's amazing. So business of brand, and just for anybody that's watching, when I say brand, it's not branding, like a logo or a website. Business of brand really is about the end-to-end revenue of a business, and we've been involved in it now as partners for quite a while. And what it's about, it was started by two fantastic entrepreneurs, Darren Sherlaw, Lindsay Boyd. Darren is from the world of mathematics, and he was a fund manager looking after big pension funds and that type of thing. And Lindsay is from the world of brand growth, and she's responsible for being involved with big brands like Superdry. So you've got these two sides of the coin that came together, and they've now built out a proven method of growing entrepreneurially businesses. In fact, you could probably even call it probably the first true entrepreneurial business school that there's ever been. And it's now recognised, we're very proud to say, it's now recognised by the UN, the London Stock Exchange, British Business Bank. And so what we're looking to do is bring a lot of that methodology into dentistry. And there's lots of ways that we do that. And one of the key ways really that we do that is to talk to dentistry around exit plan. How are you going to exit the business? What's your thought patterns around that? how are you going to get meaningful growth? So we have various tools that we can use, and one of those tools is what's called Find Your Formula, and it's a really, really interesting audit. What it does is it deconstructs a business, and it gets the principal dentist, the business owner, whoever it is, to, in their own world, see where their actual holes are inside their whole strategy. And from the back, off the back of that, they're then able to move forward into a growth strategy moving forward, with exit being a clear goal down the end at some point. And one of the key things that's really interesting is when you talk about business wealth and business management of business wealth, there's essentially three different points where a principal dentist or a business owner would want to grow their business. There's increased income, there's increased equity, so we want to grow the business and sell it for lots of money, or possibly there's a better lifestyle as well. So we delve right the way into what is it that the principal dentist is looking for. And quite often, a dentist will say to us, do you know what, I'm earning enough money, I'm okay with that. Really what I want is a better lifestyle. I want more time with my family, but I don't want my income to decrease. So there's a big conversation to be had with dentistry around how to create that internal wealth and then to leverage it so that we can exit you out the other end successfully, or potentially create a legacy business which passes down through the family or whatever the driver is of that individual.
I think the work that you're doing is absolutely fantastic, and myself, I'm always moving the goalposts, always wanting to learn, and I think we should all keep learning every day. I mean, for yourself, because you've got so much knowledge, if you could give one advice to a leader, what would that advice be?
Without a shadow of a doubt, be authentic. Be authentic, be straight up with people, and actually be human with people, because I think, unfortunately, I'm always quick to say I'm from outside of dentistry, and that's a great thing because it means I bring a different skill set with me when I come into dentistry. And what I recognise is that there's very, very little support from a management process and a training process for managers. And so people sort of get dropped into certain roles, be that a practice manager or even a principal dentist. If they're having to deal with people, they've not necessarily had that training around how to operate with people. And we see people struggle around that. And so when you talk about authenticity and you talk about people being their true self, that's recognised by staff members. So that's the starting point of creating trust inside a business. So with regards ELA, we do create, obviously the top end stuff is the Bob stuff that we do, but of course we still do the more intricate training around leadership inside dentistry, whether it's front of house or whatever. And when you are a leader, you've got to be authentic. People have got to see what you're doing is from the heart. And at that point, you're able to then lead your staff. And we talk about pull rather than push. So I'll give you an example. 1980s management would be, you will do that by 5 o'clock, otherwise you're down the road and we'll sack you. Or pull is the other way around, where you're creating a positive whirlwind inside your business, like you do, I believe. And people will say to you, what is it that you need me to do? In fact, often we'll talk to business owners and we'll say, what is your culture like? Is your culture at 5 o'clock when your practice closes, does it look like a starting line at the Olympics for a load of sprinters out the door? Or is it a case of where people will come to you and say, I'm due to finish at 5 o'clock, it's now 5 o'clock, did you need me to do anything extra before I go? And that's a huge seed change around where some businesses are at compared to where others are at. So without a shadow of a doubt, authenticity.
Do you know, it's just been fantastic speaking to you today, Andy. I wish I could talk to you all evening, but unfortunately we have to leave now. So thank you so much for being part of Town Hall TV. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.